continuing with macros. And just before we do that, I just want to remind you that macros are super advanced Rust. I've never even had to put one together. A lot of people write Rust for like 4 or 5 years, and they say they've never had to touch them. So this is just very optional, and you can tell the syntax is basically like almost like a different language in a way. But of course, it's very powerful. So if you want to, if you're tempted by it, then it's definitely worth your time to pick it up if you want. So let's see, our next. So last time we had this this one that brought in an identifier and then an expression, and this was the sheet that I mentioned that has all the information on what these names, these terms actually mean. And this one is actually surprisingly useful. This TT, it says single token tree. So what's a token tree? And it says go here for details. And this person has a good answer, which is basically it's anything. It's macros that have a I don't really care part, and so it'll match a whole bunch of things. So let's bring that into a new macro here. We're going to oh, and by the way, we're also going to use this macro inside of a macro. So this there's this one called Stringify that takes token trees, and it basically just forces them into a static string. So it doesn't care what you put in; it'll just turn it into a static string, and it so it's kind of useful inside of macros because of that. So we will say we'll just call this print anything. And we'll say it takes one thing, let's see, one thing, and we'll call it input, and it's going to be a token tree, so basically anything. And then we'll say we would like to stringify using this this macro, so stringify, and we will stringify the input, and then we will just print it out because it's a string now. So output. Like that. So let's go to here and say print anything, and we'll just put in whatever we like, and then it's going to give this back to us as a string. Now, if I do this and put a space in there or a comma, then it's going to say I don't know what to do with this because now there's 2 things. No rules expected this token, it's 2 things now instead of 1. So the next thing to do is learn how to take multiple things. And you can see it, where is it? It is it's like a $sign in front of the $signs. And I think, where is it? There we go. So it's this thing here. And what this means is that there are multiple things that can match. So what you do is you take you do this, you put a $sign around it, and this means multiple things. And you put a comma there if you want to. This comma means separated by a comma, and this means 0 or more things. And you can see that inside here, these macro rec ops. And there we go. So there are 3 types. This is the most common one. So this means any number. So it could be 0, it could be 1. It doesn't matter. Plus means at least 1, and question mark is kind of like a Boolean. It means maybe it's there or maybe there's 1. So usually you will see this. And so if we give it 2 things to stringify, now it's not going to work just yet because it's going to say, let's see, actually there shouldn't be an extra bracket there. Yeah, it should be behind the $sign. So there we go. It says, says this variable is still repeating, variable input is still repeating at this depth. And that's kind of a funny error message, but what it means is that there's more than one here, and it took care of one, because here we've said stringify one of them, but then it's still going over this input that came in, and it doesn't know what to do with it. So what you do is you change it to the same format here. So you can let's see, we can just put that in. We don't need to. This is to separate it with a comma, and now we don't need the comma anymore because it's already separated. So this is going to say stringify 0 or more occurrences of the thing, and so you can see now it's it's separated. We separated it with commas, and now we can put in a whole bunch of nonsense. These are token trees, so the macro doesn't care what the type is, and so it goes through and it says, okay, here's a thing. I'm going to stringify that, and here's another one, and so this is the and you see the syntax a lot, so definitely remember this. So you have this some sort of a type, something here. And then you say TT, or you say like indent or whatever, and then if you want more, then you do that, and you say, how do I want to separate it? You can separate it with semicolons, for example. So this means separated with semicolons, and you need at least one. So it's kind of like a little bit like regular expressions, where you have like a kind of a separate syntax to follow. So that is the next thing in that we learned in macros, taking multiple types of input, but there's I think probably about 2 more videos left of stuff to show you in the book, and even that is just like really simple macro stuff. So see you then.